Oh, that's better. All right, who's all in here? Let's see who's all in here. Good morning, Dustin. Hey, Danielle. Jennifer, what's up? All right, I'll go ahead and get the other stuff out the way so a few people might come in. Good morning. Can everybody hear me first? I'm going to eat my sub at the same time. At least my half a sub that was left from last night. Hey, Kid Danger, good morning. Everybody hear me okay? Okay, cool. All right. If you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching. Oh, forgive me. I'm just waking up a little bit ago, and it's already drama with my day. I have not been unloaded yet. We'll get to that later. Anyway, then I was told to wait. This drama, I won't get into that right now. I need to talk about something totally different. Something that's bothering me more than anything anyway. And R, good morning. But if you're new to the channel, first of all, thanks for coming to it and checking us out. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, even if you don't like it. In the words of my homegirl D-Boy Stan, somebody else might. And then if you do like it, please go ahead and feel free to share it out to let people know about the channel and the content. A lot of things happened yesterday. Yesterday was not a good day. It was not a good day. And my sub's kind of soggy, so I'm probably going to have to eat it with a fork. You know, some of it is. This is from last night. So, here's the situation, and I'm just get into it because I know most people are probably working and they'll watch it later. When I came to this company, the way this is one of the starters, well, it's the starter company. Yeah, the more and more it's more of a starter company. I hate starter companies. I just do. What happens, and it's not to be mean, but there are things in starter companies that after you get experience become annoying. And there's a level of what I understand a starting company to do, which I think is fine. For some people, they might spend 20 years in it at a starter company and be fine because of the type of structure that it is. But as you grow and mature, you should also have new experiences, and you should also be treated more like an adult. It's kind of like Monet was saying, how, she was at a starter company with Stevens, and they had something where they wanted her to come. She said, why do I need to come back to the terminal? For what? I don't need to come see you. And excuse me. And I understood that. I understood what she was saying because what it is very similar to the guy that I worked for in Lubbock. Excellent equipment. Actually, everything he had, with the exception of his personality, the control freakiness, met all my needs. Hey, Rochelle, good morning. But, it's that control freaky, not letting you be an adult and do your job. It's different. I think if I would have tore your equipment up or done something, tore your equipment up, that to me is the biggest problem. Have a bunch of citations, stuff like that. I didn't have any of that. So If you can't trust me with your equipment, then why am I driving your equipment? So to me, that's number one. Same way when I had a young man who was going to come on, he said, I don't like to be screamed at. I said, if I have to be screaming at you, you don't need to be driving this equipment. You don't need to be, you dang sure don't need me as a trainer. You don't need to be driving with me. Hey, Latrice, good morning. You don't need to be driving with me if I have to be screaming at you. I'm going to get into this here in a minute. I'm kind of building up to it. But starter companies, they have their issues. And, like yesterday I had to go in the trailer, the trailer had issues. It was a 10-minute fix, and I had me held up for the weekend. That 10-minute fix resulted in me driving rains and having to stop. And then by the time I got here to the customer, the GPS put me past the customer at a truck stop. I had to go all the way back around in a loop. I went in here and went to the bathroom, got me something to eat because I know how long I'm going to be at this customer. By the time I got to the customer, going to get ready to get out the truck and check in, they walking up to my door talking about, we closed. Go ahead and back up into one of the doors and we'll get you unloaded tomorrow morning. Well, that all fell to the wayside because I got knocked on this morning. I mean, knocked on the truck, knocked in the head, but knocked on the truck this morning and was told, we don't unload fresh meat or your fresh foods. And we don't unload, hey Shay, we don't unload you until after 6 p.m. tonight. So I got here last night to be told that A, they were closed, B, to back up to a door, and C, I wasn't supposed to be parked on the lot this morning, and D, to go next door, and I'm fresh foods, and they're not going to load this truck until 6 p.m. tonight. After 6 p.m. And they took my number, bill of lading, and I didn't have to send the company some information. I am not having a good day. Morning there, magical girl. So that was part of my day yesterday, but my day was much worse with something that didn't even have to do with me, okay, in a sense. Oh, Shay, you have no clue. You have no clue. I'm going to be looking at some stuff because yesterday I had a very detailed conversation with the recruiter that I like the recruiter at the company. There's a lot of people at this company I absolutely like. The driver manager I have is awesome. I would say he tops any driver manager I've had. And no offense if Becca ever watches this, I liked you. But this dang guy is good. I mean, he reminded me of me as a manager. When I managed in corporate America, I was that manager that I would be there after my team. I'd be there 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure everything was set up. If I had one of my team people who had a birthday, I was stopping and grabbing something like a veggie plate or a fruit plate, some kind of trinket to celebrate them because I've been entry level. And so I was, as far as my metrics I was supposed to meet, I wasn't a hard-nosed manager. I was like, hey, Latrice, good morning. I was just somebody who was, when I managed, I looked at it like this. This is my meeting with my reps. The company requires these metrics. So let's say the metric is 1 to 7 for you to meet. Let's say 1 was the low end and 7 was the best. I said, if they not going to write you up at 1 and you satisfied with 1, then do 1. I just need you to be between 1 and 7. To me, if you're doing 1, you're still doing the job. You're just not overworking and trying to go all out shenanigans and burning yourself out. But if you are overachiever and you want to hit 7, then be 7. I'm telling you, just follow these metrics so we don't have to have a come to Jesus meeting. I don't want to have a come to Jesus meeting. I don't want them bugging me. I don't want them bugging you. I don't want to have to bug you. Do your core job. And my reps love me for that because I wasn't trying to say, everybody got to be a 7. Everybody got to be a 7. Child, please. Bye, Felicia. I mean, that's so. But I was very thorough. I tried to make sure that my people had what they need. I tried to make sure I did the best thing for them. And this driver manager is very much like that. So I do like him on that level a lot. I sent him everything this morning and he told me, he says, well, I'm going to see if I can either get you off the load. He said, but if I can't get you off the load, I'm going to pay you the maximum detention pay that's available. I was like, okay. And anything he told me he's going to pay me, he has paid. I ain't going to lie on him. because when I was down, he was paying my breakdown pay every day I was down. So the check that I thought was going to be really small, it wasn't big, but it was damn sure more than what it was supposed to be because of him paying the breakdown pay. And this whole fiasco started with the fact that the trailer, by the way, that what y'all saw on that trailer, that fix was a 10-minute fix. And I set the whole weekend. Let me go back, and then I'm going to get into the sexual harassment conversation in a minute, because this all kind of leads up to that. Shay, speak that. So let me get into this conversation. The trailer, y'all saw the cable. I don't know if y'all can see in the picture I did. There is a long cable that was coming down from underneath where the kingpin is under the trailer, and that cable was stretching along the ground. Shit, I don't even know how many feet. It's longer than my leg. So it was probably, if we would have stretched the cable, it might have come up to where my side of my rib bones are, all the way down my leg. Okay, it was long enough that when I hooked to the trailer, you could see the cable going all the way, hanging over the frame where your lights are at the rear of your drives. Okay, the concern you have is when you have some kind of wiring cable. I didn't know what it went to. I knew it was electrical because I could see the metal wire sticking out. I did not know what it went to. Hold on, y'all. I gotta do my meds. I didn't do my meds this morning. I did not know what it went to. That was number one. Wrong thing. Right thing. I didn't know what this damn thing went to. That was number one. And so when I hooked first thing I did was hook the lights up to make sure that this wasn't like a cut cable for lights. Because if that's the case, I'm going to have breakdown come out, because you cannot drive a trailer that don't have no brake lights, no indicator lights, of whether you make it a right or left, somebody run into you behind. Well, I hooked the lights up and everything worked. So was able to drive the trailer, and I let them know what was happening, and that they already had me set to fuel at the terminal in Texarkana. So you don't have to follow their fuel routing. Because we have a booklet of places we can fuel. So if there's fuel routing that meets your needs along the way, that's what you do. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So over the weekend, these people kept telling me, hey, you can go ahead and adjust your logs, and you can go ahead and run at any time. And I'm like, the trailer's still in a red tag status. When they red tag, they cut the glad hand to the trailer so that you can't take the trailer, meaning you have no trailer brakes. You can't take the trailer. So at this point, all you can do is move the trailer on the yard and drop it. That was it. I was able to pull it out the inspection bay and drop it. But I have no trailer brakes because they cut that line. Okay, they do that on purpose, which I think is extremely smart, so that some dumb behind don't take a red tag trailer, which is what I said it would be a really good move for Swift. Swift was better in other ways than these guys, and I'll get to that in a bit. That's one of the reasons I went to Swift, because a lot of people give Swift a bad name, but on their setup, as far as they're a very methodical company. So how your paperwork's done, how you report when you get to a customer. It's a clean method. If there was an issue with the reefer, which there always was issue with reefers, I could get it seen rather rapidly, either through a breakdown or take it into the trailer shop. And a 10-minute fix like that, I would have been able just to drive it into the trailer shop and they would have fixed it. Okay. Instead, because they said there was some other service issue, they told me to drop the trailer. They also did not write down the two issues when I went through the inspection bay, because they said, oh, we don't see the cable anymore. It must have fell off. It did not. When I detached from it, the cable was there. They were just ready to go home. I'll be honest. I dropped the tape and I was like, you know what? It's going to take them till later tomorrow. Well, I'm thinking they're going to pull it in. They did not pull it in because I did not know that on Sunday, the trailer shop is closed. Well, all day that day, I kept getting messages as if, are you going to take the trailer? I'm like, why do they keep messaging me about this dang trailer? Well, come to find out, They had sent an email to my dispatch manager, who was not even in over the weekend, and I'm sure the other dispatch people saw it, that the trailer had been fixed. It had not, but that they had fixed it. I dropped that trailer. That trailer had not moved all weekend. The reason I know is because I kept checking the temperature, because the reefer unit was going yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green. Also, because I didn't know, I was sitting directly in front of where they take the trailers in for repair, and I had never seen anybody take the trailer in, and they closed about 4 something. By the time I got out of the inspection bay, it was about that. So I never saw the trailer in, and it was sitting directly in the same spot, exactly the same spot I dropped it. It had not moved. So finally, I was like, because it kept coming back, and I'm like, this. That's why I was ignoring. I think I did a video, and that's how I was ignoring them, because I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about, because the trailer hadn't moved. The next day or the evening, they told me, oh, can you check it, because it wasn't communicating. Well, apparently there's some kind of fuel sensor issue with the trailer that causes the yellow-green issue, and they can't fix it. That's already kind of scary, but it's not my product on the back of there. It's not my contract between me and the customer about their product being fresh. That's between you and them. So I done did my due diligence to let you know that there's issues with the trailer. My bigger issue was the cable hanging on the ground, and then there was a bunch, as Danielle called it, spaghetti underneath the reefer. There's usually a plate, and me and Nikki had talked about that. There's a plate that goes there. She's like, where's the plate? And I said, oh, you don't know. I said, that's nothing in comparison to some of the ghetto trailers I took from Swift's reefer division, with wires and duct tape and packaging tape holding the damn thing together. I said, that's not anything. Those little wires under there weren't my main issue. It was the one hanging on the ground, and the fact that it was going yellow green, that was my issue. Because the one that hanging on the ground was long enough to get caught up in my drives or in anything that was moving underneath the frame. So my driver manager gets in Monday. He says, Shannon, they sent me a message telling me that trailer was fixed shortly after you got here on Saturday. I said, ain't no way in hell. No way. So I go over to the trailer. I take pictures on the yard. Glad hand is still cut, which means it's in a red tag status. All the cabling is still hanging down. The cable on the ground is hanging down, and it's in the exact same position I left it. I took pictures and sent it to him. He goes, so he shared with me the email he got from Breakdown. I said, or from the maintenance people. I said, well, if you need, I got to come in with all this paperwork anyway. You can look at my phone. I said, you can't argue with cell phone pictures. I said, the reason you can't argue with them is because they geo timestamp and date the location in which the photo was taken. I said, the original photo was taken in, the one I sent you in your email was originally taken, the first email I sent them, was taken in Hope, Arkansas. I have it time and date stamped on my phone. I don't do that. That's something the phone automatic, iPhone, Android, both phones do it. Don't matter. I said, the second picture shows Texarkana, Arkansas. I'm standing in Texarkana, Arkansas. And you can see the trailer number, right? Y'all should have some kind of tracking system on this trailer. That trailer ain't moved from the spot it's been in. I said, and here's a picture showing that trailer's in the same condition with the wires hanging as it was in Hope, Arkansas. It ain't changed. He said, let me get back to you. He said, somebody will be out to that trailer in a few minutes. He said, they're going to tell me it's 10 minutes to fix the issue. He said, they're going to get those cables up. And I said, well, the big cable, I said, those cables are an issue, but the big cable I'm having a problem with is the one underneath. Also, are they sure that this yellow-green issue is part of this fuel thing? Since ain't nobody looked at it, is this something they just already knew was an issue with this particular trailer? He says, I don't know, I'm checking on it. He said, but somebody's coming out to that trailer in 10 minutes, or have it fixed in 10 minutes. So by the time they finally got it fixed, and the time I got in, they give us a sheet we have to go sign off on. I then have to go to safety. We have Newcom data cards they have to give us, and they go and they make sure they check your entire permit book to make sure all the stuff's in order. Then they check you to make sure you've done all the safety. This is new starter company stuff. Safety videos. So there's some safety videos and crap I gotta watch. You gotta watch the safety video. Boop-de-boop-de-boop. It's better. So I also have to go to operations and have him sign off on it. And then I have to go to the maintenance department because of the trailer repair to say that they fixed whatever the issues were that they saw, whether you told them about it or whether they discovered it in the inspection bay. All a lot of stuff, right? Well, this is where the sexual harassment stuff is going to come in, and it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with a driver that I met. So when I first came to this company, this starter companies tend to do this roommate stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. I could pay for a room on my own. It was like $20 more. But usually, if you're a female, sometimes you look up, and because there's not a lot of women in the industry, you end up getting your room by yourself. The first night I was there, I was by myself. The second night, a young girl who came into our orientation, who was late to the orientation due to her bus trip, where the bus broke down and some other stuff. She was late and didn't get there till I think day number 2 or sometime day number 1. I can't remember. She came like midday of the day we were showing. I think it was day number 1, and she just came middle of the day. The bus finally came in, and so she was late coming into orientation. Not her fault. It's just Greyhound. She lives in the Carolinas, but she's somewhere from I think the New York area, and she's I think from the islands. Something her heritage is from the islands. So sweet kid, sweet kid. The baby just turned 24, and she was my little roommate. So I was like, she was cool enough, and the mama thing comes out. I don't have kids. I mean, I just raised, like I said, I raised my brothers for a period of time, but I do have kind of that. If I can help you, it's just a natural thing. I'm going to try to help you. And I could tell she was green. I'm going to say green in this industry. And so when they start talking to us about the recovery trucks the first day, she had no idea what that meant. And I told her, I looked at her, recovery under my breath, right? And so she goes, and so when we got to the room, she asked me what recovery was, and I told her. I said, this is what I know recovery to be. I said, you going out and getting a truck that somebody was in. I said, whether they got fired, they quit, the truck broke down. I said, the problem with recovery is you don't know if the driver was clean. You don't know if the driver was mentally stable. You don't know if they was angry and they smeared their feces all over the wall in that truck. You don't know if they pissed off and they pissed all in that truck. You don't know if they had an animal in that truck and it crapped all in that truck, or there's cat hair all in that truck. You don't know nothing about the truck. I said, so unlike where a truck might be left at a facility and they have people who go in there and clean that craziness, then you go to recover it. It could be you recovering something that's nasty as hell. I'm just saying. She turned around and oh, forgive me. She turned around and she's like, oh, she didn't know. She said, I didn't know. So we got to know each other a little bit. She's a pretty quiet kid, very clean, very girly. And I'm not talking about like really, she had her nails. She didn't do really makeup. But when I say girly, how she carried herself. And I'm not saying exposed just like, the girl jumpsuits and or like, jumpsuits, jogging suits. She did have jeans, but she's girly. She's thin. I mean, I thought she's an okay looking sister. I'm not, again, that's not my thing. And this was a baby. I didn't really look at her like, oh, she's pretty. To me, she's okay. She's not ugly, but she was okay. And I'm saying that for a reason. I'm going to get to that. So she carried herself like a girl, just like a girl. Now, when you see me, I've been a tomboy all my life, but even if you see Danielle's a very straight female. She's a straight woman. She got a man. But Danielle, when she's out here, she's like me. We do sweats, we do t-shirts, we do men's shorts. We wear the gear that I call to do the job. Now, some women out here, they like, I'm not going to lose my femininity out here, and they are girls. And it's not that some are drawing attention because that's what they want. But others are just saying, I'm a female, I'm going to look like a female, and God bless them. I'm not even mad at that. I think the industry needs to change, and I think that men and women need to be dignified and respectful in this job. So you don't need to be oogling no woman, and the woman don't need to be oogling you. Vice versa, okay? Doesn't matter. But the ones that are out there with their breasts showing and all this stuff, that's over the top for me. I think it's unnecessary, and I think it's a detriment to some of the things in the industry because of the type of industry we're in. And we're gonna get to that. So anyway, this young girl was my roommate in the little classroom, and she also had to do 100 hours worth of training. She had gone to several companies, and either she was always waiting for a trainer. It was just always some drama. So she left from it for a while, and then she came back because this is how she wants to make her living. And her boyfriend, fiance, he's also getting ready to go to trucking school because they want a team. Smart, good money bringing into a household. So we had talked a little bit. At least that's what I remember of our conversation. And we had talked a little bit, and I tried to school her on some things out here in the industry, but I could tell the baby was really, really green. It almost reminded me, which I told her the story yesterday when I talked to her on the phone. Me and Danielle talked to her yesterday on the phone. But when I talked to her on the phone yesterday, I told her the story of Carmisha. And I'm actually going to send her the video on Carmisha Thomas. If y'all don't know who that is, I did a video on it a while back. I'll do like a post and see if I can link the video again. And Carmisha is a young lady who was murdered in Louisiana I think at the Mardi Gras truck stop. I think her name is Carmisha Thomas. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, she was about this baby's age. She was in her 20s as well, new to trucking. She looked to be a relatively tall sister, at least from what I could tell from the pictures they had. She wasn't no short sister. And I think they never said if she was raped, but I'm pretty sure she was raped. She was murdered and left in her truck, locked up in her truck, dead. I remember they wouldn't let her mom identify the body, probably because it was decomposed. They didn't find her until 3 days later. There were flies in the truck. And they said the body was bloody, probably, I'm thinking, from some sort of a fight. Yeah, she was a decent looking sister. Yeah, she was a decent looking sister. Well, I told her the story of this because she told me some disturbing news, and I ended up getting her in a conference call with me and Danielle. Danielle is 54, 55. I'm 51. My background is different from Danielle's. I do have corporate, as you guys know, and I've come into the trucking, whereas Danielle grew up in the trucking industry. So she grew up under uncles and her dad who were truckers, and she's been trucking for 18 years. I only got 6. Danielle also did some dispatch manager work in, I think she said, PA, somewhere in PA. So she's got a good comprehension of this industry. We both have a very good, as women in general, a good comprehension of males and pervertedness in this industry. And do not get it twisted. When I say sexual harassment, if you're a guy watching this video, I do know that women can also sexual harass as well. They can sexual harass other women. They can vice versa. You can, if it could be sexual harass a man to a man to a woman to a man, and a woman to a woman. Sexual harassment has no gender bounds at all. Sexual harassment is just exactly what it is. Unwanted sexual advances, okay? Verbally, physically, those are usually the 2 biggest, okay? I'm getting to this. This is it really, yesterday disturbed me. It disturbed me on a lot of things because I see a lot of issues overall in this whole problem. And Danielle was like, I would have been up in there talking. And I said, you can't go and speak on behalf. Yes and no. If you witness something, yes. If I'm overhearing it and I have no proof of it, no, I can't get involved. All I can do is advise the person as best I can, okay? The reason I say that is you don't know what's true and you don't know what's false. You don't know, is baby delusional? Is she telling the truth or not? I believe there's some things she's telling me that are very true. I'm not a doubt in my mind, to my knowledge, but I wasn't there to see nor witness. And I just met this baby in orientation. So the baby was in orientation with me. They're going to tell her to do 100 hours out with the trainer. She has not ever at any company had complete training. And so she was giving it another shot. This company, I told you, they're a second chance company. So they basically told her, you got to go out for 100 hours. She needs work on her backing. She needs to get comfortable with how to run the truck. In my humble opinion, the baby needs 240, 50 hours, okay? The baby has not completed a full training, but this company is very much more, and I hate to say, than even Swift butts in the seat, from what I'm telling from some of their training stuff, okay? Even from the guy that was talking to me crazy on the truck, my understanding, they were going to keep him. And I told them some things that to me that were serious enough that he needs to come back to you guys with a doctor's note saying that he is managing his diabetes. I'm hoping they did a drug screening on him, because again, it could have been drugs. I don't know if it was. I presume it was his diabetes. But they're very well. I think one of the things I like about them is their second chances. They'll give drivers a second chance who have had issues. The thing I don't like about them is, to me, their training time is too short, and you can actually upgrade a student less than 100 hours. They don't require you to do that for 100 hours. You could have a student on the truck for 2 days and say, oh yeah, he can drive, he can back, and just want to get him off the truck and pass. That's what that guy wanted me to do. He wanted me just to pass him. So I don't know if his bad behavior was thinking, okay, I just want to get this MF off my truck. God forgive me, I'm just putting it like that. This mother fricker off my truck. So I'm just going to pass him and upgrade him. That's not good, because I just released a detriment onto the road. You can't stay awake 2 hours, and you're eating sugar behind the wheel, knowing you're a major diabetic. You're falling asleep. What does that tell me? That tells me that you're going to fall asleep, possibly kill somebody behind this wheel. That's a detriment. But I've done, as Bill likes to say, my due diligence. I put everything in writing. I let you know. So if 6 months down the road, if this guy even stayed with the company, I don't know if he did. If 6 months down the road he goes and kills somebody, they go back and audit this company. They come back and subpoena me, because they can't subpoena you as a trainer. That's another reason why I was really not a go for becoming an instructor at Swift, because they can't subpoena you later on if you have a student, like, okay, well, what was the training, and did you, and they can try to put some of the fault on you. Transportation is cutthroat, especially in trucking, on you for this person being inadequately trained, okay? So butts in the seat is not one of my favorite things. That's one of the reasons why I've never been a fan of really short training for this industry from what I've seen. So the young lady, yesterday, I'm at the terminal. I'm walking over with my book to go get all these little areas signed, safety, my operations, and then I had to walk back to maintenance. I see her. I was like, oh my God, baby girl, how you doing? I'm okay. And she's looking down. She's on her phone. So I go over and sit down, and we start talking, and she knew the guy who had gotten on my truck. She's like, oh, Sid, so did George complete? And I said, well, no, there were some issues with George, and I had asked to get him off my truck, and I told her some behavioral stuff. And she said, well, I believe you, because he went off on, his behaviors were weird, I guess, at the hotel a couple of times, and he also went off on the van driver. I said, good to know. And she's like, yeah. She says, well, how are you liking the company so far? And I said, well, I like the people I have now I'm dealing with. I said, but my issue more right now, and it's a big issue for me, is equipment. I said, I don't like bare bones trucks, no refrigerator, no APU, no inverter. That's a big issue for me. But even more so, I said, when I first got the truck, maintenance hadn't been completed on it. It looks like it possibly had been in some sort of jackknife, whether it was a 90 turn or a hard jackknife. I said I ended up in the shop with it very shortly after getting it, because it was shaking, because it was out of alignment, probably due to the jackknife pulling right. And I said I left the terminal here and ended up in the terminal in Chattanooga. I said, where that company did a much better job. I said, but then I ended up breaking down just recently again. I said, with fault warnings due to something not being plugged in. Rod, thank you for watching, and welcome to the channel. No, they never did come back with any other information on Carmisha. At least nothing that they gave us on Carmisha. What you saw is what they basically don't. Yeah, I have no comment on that. I'm not very happy with how that was handled. But yeah, they never came back with any further information. Anyway, so as I'm talking to her, I asked her, I said, I was getting ready to get up and walk away after we talked for a minute, and I sat down. Something just said to ask her. I said, wait a minute. I said, please forgive me for being rude. How are you doing? And she's like, I'm okay. And I was like, what's going on? And she said, well, she said a lot of bad stuff happened during my training. I said, what do you mean? She's like, well, I had one guy, and she says, and I was on his truck. I was supposed to do the 100 hours. She said, I didn't even do the 100 hours. I said, huh? I said, didn't you tell me you haven't had any official training at any company? She said, if I go to one, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for a damn trainer. She said, I come here, they give me these trainers. And she said, and then they trying to come on to me. I'm not here for that. I'm like, oh my God. I said, what happened? She proceeds to tell me that this dude, the first trainer, both white trainers, both Anglo, she's a sister, she's black. Baby just turned 24 years old. She proceeds to tell me that the first trainer, he had touched her inappropriately. He had made several verbal sexual advances. The whole time she's in communication with her family's like, you need to report him, you need to report him, you need to report it. She's like, I'm just trying to do my 100 hours. I just want to get my 100 hours so I can get my truck. I need the training. I need the training. She apparently has a mortgage. That's another thing. I don't know all the details of her finances. So she's looking at, let me learn how to do the job. Yeah, this is gonna be deep. It's gonna be deep. Again, I'm going on what she told me. I've only heard one side of this story. There's always two sides of every story. But based on what I picked up on her when I first met her, I knew she was green. At least that was a sense I got in my spirit. I don't not believe her. I do believe her. I believe everything she's telling me, and she supposedly has recordings. She also had a picture of this guy, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Ooh. She says that during the training, this guy, this white dude, she's driving, she's on the top bunk. When they stop, he's on the bottom bunk. Or no, I think he's either in front or on the bottom bunk or something like that. She said her feet were hanging over and she was on her phone, and he proceeded to tell her that he hadn't had sex in so many months. He had recently been divorced. Some other stuff, just telling him all his life story. I think he had some financial issues. Just told her all of his drama. Hey, King JC, what's up, baby? He proceeded to tell her all of his drama. Jesus Christ. He then says to her, are you ticklish? And she says no, and proceeds to grab her feet and start tickling them. She grabs her feet back. She said, I didn't know whether to kick him in his face or just to pull back. I didn't know. She said, I've never been in a situation like this. I didn't know what to do. He then was asking her to come out the top bunk and lay down underneath him in the bottom bunk. I didn't ask her whether she did it, didn't do it. I didn't ask because I was already just totally blown away by what she was telling me. But where things get to go really even more foul than that, the truck broke down. They were stuck, I guess, at a Walmart or whatever. And she said he even peed on the truck while I was on the truck. And I said, well, she's not used to trucking. I said, well, that I don't have a problem with if it was done in a discreet manner. Latrice, we getting into it, honey. This is way deeper than you even begin to know. I said, because she doesn't have understanding of things in trucking. So like me and Danielle had to tell her, I have a porta john on this truck. Even when my student is driving, but see, this is where training a trainer and being real in this industry needs to happen. They don't. I didn't go through a training process with them. They said, "Can you be a trainer?" I was like, "Yeah." Granted, when I was at Swift puts you through a mentorship 3 day course. Was it 3 days? I think I was in the course for 3 days. And if I remember correctly, when I was a mentor in 2010, I thought that course was like a week long. I can't be. I know that I sat in the classroom. We went through sexual harassment videos. We went through a whole bunch of stuff. I give Swift their props. People can talk about them all they want, but they are structured in certain aspects that are good. Other stuff they got going on with that equipment, that's a whole nother can of worms. But as far as structured, they try, in my humble opinion, to train a certain way. They try to produce mentors who are going to train a certain way. And Danielle's in here. She used to be a mentor for Swift as well. She trained over 50 students. So, and she was at least purchase op with them. So she, I think, can attest to that. We went through kind of a classroom thing, which any corporation, that's what you should do if you're training mentors. I didn't go do that with this company. They asked me, yes, I have a training background. That lady handed me the paperwork, and boom, they sent me through the process of going through safety protocol, verifying some information, and they approved me to be a trainer. I ain't sat in the classroom not one damn time. I ain't looked at one sexual harassment video. Not one. Anyway, this baby proceeds to tell me that this dude, and like I said, I don't know all the details. She was really, because she's been through several companies and she keeps getting dicked over. I get she just really, and she said, and she's young, and she said, I'm just trying to thug it out and trying to get through this for my 6 months. Because at her 6 months, she's going to leave this company. She's going to run, not walk. She may be leaving sooner than that, because I put her in touch with somebody to try to help her get something else. Because I'm getting ready to stress some stuff that blows you back. Her and the dude broke down. The company wouldn't even pay for a hotel for them. They broke down, and I think she said in the Walmart parking lot or something. That's another problem I have. You're a trainer. Why are we in equipment that's breaking down all the damn time? That's a damn problem. That's a problem. Okay? Oh, I can't. Let me just breathe. She stuck with this dude, broke down, so the whole company wasn't giving them a hotel. So she finally contacted, she got in touch with somebody, and the woman was being, I guess the night person or whoever they were dealing with was being kind of a jerk. And they went ahead and said, well, we're going to get you a room. Basically, they made her share a room with this man. Already a problem. Guys, there is no company, especially in trucking. Actually, I don't even know corporate companies. In a regular corporate job. Yeah, Shay, that's exactly what Danielle said right there. When I told Danielle this, and then we brought her on the line, and the girl regurgitated verbatim exactly what you just said. The girl regurgitated that verbatim to Danielle on the phone. I said, I said, this is Danielle. She's been in the industry with 18 years, even longer than me. And I said, Danielle, how old are you? Danielle told her. The reason I want her to know her age is because I wanted her to know the maturity of the two women she was talking to on the phone. We ain't no little girls. We grown-ass women. And we done been through our own shiznit in this world, okay? Y'all don't even... I had a man break into my grandfather's house and try to rape me at age I was 13 years old, freshman year of high school, getting ready to enter freshman year of high school. I physically had to fight. And I don't know if he's a man. He was young, so I don't know if he's a teenager or a man. I physically fought this man out the house. My brothers were in the house. I used to go clean up for my grandfather on the weekend, do his laundry on the weekend, and he would pay me like $50 for the weekend. It was earning money. You know, kids had a little hustle. And it was a way for my grandfather to spend time with his grandchildren. He ran a club. I told you guys he had a club. He ran a little club at night, and so he was gone. The person had broke in through the back window. I done been through some shiznit, y'all. You don't know. And so when this baby was telling me her stuff, I'm sitting up here, I'm mad as hell, and I'm thinking back to, you know, she's young, she's 24, she's probably been a little more sheltered. She ain't been through no shiznit yet. And in companies and how this company did, I am so done right now. I mean, what she told me was so disturbing. I got no words. And I'm going to tell you at the end, because I'm going to blow you back even further. I got no words for what this baby told me. I was so angry. Danielle was like, I couldn't be there. She said, I couldn't because I'd be up in there raising mad hell over this child right now. But you can't do it that way. The baby has to learn. Let me finish the story. So they put her in a hotel room with this man, okay? He said some other weird shiznit to her. And I'm gonna read comments here in a minute because I'll get off track. He says some other weird shiznit, but she snaps a picture of this asshole. He basically got out of all his clothes, except for his shorts, laid on the bed with his shorts hanging down his ass, nasty, and I'm fat as hell, fat, roly-poly, white man. And I'm like, oh my, she showed me a picture, I had to push the phone away. I was like, because everything in me was just like, you know, just one of those, oh my God, you know, oh my God. One, because it's already hard for us in this industry. And for this baby trying to come into an industry and change her life in 2019 and use some fat white man that's trying to, some old nasty white dude hitting on this 24-year-old, but you a asshole and a perv. But what's even more disturbing is that in 2020, how this company handled it. So the first part is the lady who put them in the same room together. Tell me what you want about Swift Transportation all damn day long. Nobody would have ever put them two people in the room together as a male and female. We had strict policies with Swift. Matter of fact, oftentimes, even as a trainer, they didn't want me sharing a room with my trainee, whether female or male. If you had to put your student in a hotel, your student was in one room and you were in another. There's reasons for that. And the only way you would share a room if it was two females, two males. The woman wouldn't pay for two separate rooms. Are you shitting me? With the amount of money made in, I was so, God forgive me for cussing, I was so blown when she told me. I was, in my face was like, because it was so unbelievable, but then at the same time, I know how foul trucking can be. At the same time, while I was in shock, it's like, I believe her. I believe that these cheap-ass people who would do some stupid stuff like this, and the reason I believe is because what happened with George. Had I been in Swift Transportation, I'm going to tell you what would have happened. Because I had, y'all can go back to my student videos, okay? P. Wimpy Leadfoot, they kept him. The Nigerian girl, they were going to give her a second shot. The girl who was ripping them off for the money and all the stuff, because I was writing up alone, they got rid of her. The dude who was talking in the voices in the front, they asked me to demonstrate. They asked me to write up a full statement. And he started pounding his legs and crying. They got rid of him. Why? Because they said they're concerned about his mental stability. Okay? He also was telling me about dreams about rolling the truck. That's some mental stability stuff, okay? Because they don't want a liability, because I'm telling you from point, they don't want liability. So if you tell me you're keeping this dude who can't stay awake, can only drive for 2 hours, and then he's sleepy. Now, again, I don't know if they put caveats on that. I would have just told, now, I'm not going to say I would have fired him immediately, but I would have said, you know what? Based on what we're being told from the mentor, we're going to require a drug screening, and B, we're going to require some documentation from your doctor showing that you're stable to handle this kind of equipment and that you're managing your diabetes. And I would have sent him home. He would have had to come, he would have had to piss in the cup, hair follicle, whatever, before he left. Then I would have sent him on a bus home for him to talk to his physician and make sure his diabetes was managed before he came back. And I want a written statement from that doctor. Because if he gets in an accident and a doctor says, hey, he's stable to drive a truck at that point, cool. But I'm going to have something before I let you back on the truck based on what I've been told by my mentor. I'm not going to, because to me, but I don't know. I don't know the depth of the conversation they had with him, because that's not my business. But I was told they were going to keep him. Okay, cool. Okay. So I'm not really shocked, but this gets good. She proceeds to tell me that somewhere along the journey, she never reported him first. He then makes a comment on her and gets her off his truck. And I'm like, oh. So when I'm talking to her, I said, remember I gave you my phone number in the hotel? She's like, yeah. And remember I told you could call me and ask me any questions? She said, yeah. I said, baby, my background is not fully trucking. My background is corporate management. I was trained by some top Fortune 500 banks. I said, part of my training is human resources. I said, because they want their management to understand things such as sexual harassment. I said, but also you have to understand, I've been in this industry about 6 years. Danielle's been in it 18 years. I said, had you called me, text me, as soon as that shit would have started happening on that truck, I would have guided you to the keys to the kingdom. But in a sense, you screwed yourself. In a sense. In trucking, the first one who reports is the first one they usually believe. And the problem now is that you're coming after the fact, saying sexual harassment, in a sense, telling them about what he did, and he asked you off this truck. How do they now know that it was a mutual? Okay? I'm doing this video because for those of you who are new to the channel, or who are new to trucking, or coming out here, I want you to be aware of what steps to take, especially in a training environment that is toxic, that is possibly detrimental to your health, your safety. How to handle it. A lot of people were shocked that heard the recording that I did when George was on, because I actually had to record him talking crazy, because it got to where I was sitting in that chair because I didn't know who I was dealing with. And I could at least exit the door if this things went south. I didn't think he was going to go that route, but I wasn't going to be shocked if he tried to. Okay? And my goal was, at that point, I start putting my plan of action to get him back to the terminal. Worst case scenario was going to be call 911 and have him get his shit off the truck wherever, if the behavior went that far. But initially, it was just him talking crazy. He didn't even know. He thought he was going to get back on this truck. He had no idea I was exiting him from this truck. He had no idea. He didn't know. He didn't know till they pulled him in. Okay? As soon as you see problems, you need to report it. Whether you're the trainer or whether you're and that was the one, and see, that was why they said they were keeping him, because I didn't report the first day when I saw him tired. I just took it that we were tired. I just said, well, I was tired too, because we've been up since 6 in the morning. Our load was something that picked up late in the evening, so I figured he was tired. But he was so zoned in that I should have sent a report, because it was a very unusual thing, but it wasn't something I had run into before. So I just figured maybe that's his way of being tired. Everybody's tired. How they handle it is different. But when I saw it more than once, I knew, and when I saw that his pattern was only every 2 hours, I knew we had a bigger issue. And then when I saw the sugar, and then mashing up with the conversation about the diabetes, I knew he was probably crashing. When I talked to the guy, he says, had you told us day 1, day 2, day 3, he'd be out of here. But they had some issues in the past, and I think they have to follow a set protocol on when they term people. That's what I kind of got from the conversation. So what he was looking for was what they call building a case, which they do that in corporate America. So we got incident 1, incident 2, incident 3, you're gone. Okay, 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. And that's what they were waiting for. But there's ways to, you didn't have to term him, but there would have been ways to handle it where you would have said, guy, we're going to require medical documentation that says that you're safe to drive this truck. There would have been ways they could have done that. That could have been done. In her case, she should have reported first. Now, she did have recorded conversation from him of things that he was saying that were inappropriate. She did have the picture from the hotel room. So here's where the company, I have a problem. One, the first problem is whoever authorized putting them in the room together, knowing that it was a man and a female on that truck, and not giving her a separate room from him. That's a problem. That right there, they can go back, see the authorization. They can go back and pull that data and see who that is. That person needs to be terminated. There's no corrective action for that bullcrap. She needs to be terminated because she just put the company, the employee who did that, she put the company in lawsuit territory, okay? Because if that girl was raped in that room, killed in that room by this man, raped and killed, raped, whatever, that is a heavy lawsuit for the company. So whoever that lady was who did that, and it was a woman who authorized that and refused to pay for 2 rooms. Whoever she was, they need to go back to her coding. She wouldn't give them the last name. She only gave them the first name. They need to go back to her coding, see who authorized it, and they need to go, here's your pink slip. Thank you for your time. Peace, deuces, out. You're termed. She needs to be gone. She then she said, the lady of student services. Now, I've talked to the lady of student services here and tend to get along with her. But that lady, she also, you build rapport and relationships with your mentors. So she says, well, I'm really shocked that he would do that because I know this particular trainer and I wouldn't have put you with him had I thought he would do something like that. She's like, well, what we're going to do is he's no longer going to train women. No. No, his ass ain't going to train at all. And we're going to do an investigation. That should have been the next thing that happened. That's my management training. And she should have had sent her over to HR to have a conversation. Again, anytime you're in an office leadership role, and I say this, it's a negative thing, but it's the positive thing. It can be positive in a sense. Your goal is to protect the company. And right now, this young woman brought information to you, a photo, supposedly some recordings of inappropriate conversations. Okay? Even if this dude goes and says it was mutual, he's already out of order because he's gotten into an inappropriate relationship with a trainee. As soon as you say, oh, it's a mutual, because I don't believe it's mutual, but I'm saying if he's going to use that excuse, because that's a lot of people go there. Even if he uses that excuse, it's an inappropriate relationship. Okay? It's an inappropriate relationship between 2 people. Okay? y'all. And he needs to notify them that if you end up in a relationship, it was just like if I was a supervisor at the back of my Chase at Schwab days. Schwab was very like, hey, we know that you can meet somebody here, y'all fall in love, they could report to you. If that happens, you need to let us know that you're in a relationship so we can move that person off your team and put them under somebody else. Because that's a conflict of interest. It's going to show possible favoritism because you're in a relationship with this person. So if this is something, let's say, I don't not at all think that it's mutual. He goes and says, "Oh no, well she was, this was something she was into. She wanted." Oh really? Well, you should have notified us because we then need to get her under another trainer. And if you guys want to continue your relationship, that's fine, but we need to put her under a different trainer. Those lines are fine lines. She didn't report it until after she was off of his truck. She didn't even know he requested her off her truck. So now the company can look and say, oh, well, you're saying sexual harassment because he got you off the truck and you feel it's retaliatory and you're retaliating. That's what they can say, okay, to try, or he could even say. Then she got the second trainer. We're going to get to that. This one was also had issues, but he wasn't touchy. And I don't know if he touched her again. I think he might have tried to touch her again. The second trainer, another white guy, she said she was able to drive under him, but he also was making comments, advances. He didn't physically touch her, but he also made comments to her about an attraction. He then told her that he didn't think he could train her because he was attracted to her and that he was just going to upgrade her. He was just going to pass her. So she got no training because Pervy 1 wanted to mess with her and she wasn't giving it up, so he got her off the truck. And then Pervy 2, he couldn't be in the truck with her. He even got a hotel for one night to handle whatever he needed to handle because he couldn't be in the truck with the girl. And she's saying on the phone to me and Danielle, she's like, I'm not here for this. I wasn't here. I'm just really trying to learn trucking and pay my bills. And, that's all I want is this is a career. I'm not here for this. And she says, and I'm not wearing anything. I want y'all to hear what she says. I'm not wearing anything revealing. I wear sweatsuits. I mean, this baby's now justifying as if, was it my fault? We'll talk about that. Which tells me she was sexually harassed. First of all, how me and Danielle carry ourselves is because we're older women too. B, I'm a heavier woman. Danielle's not as heavy as I am. She's a big girl too, but she's not nearly my size. We carry ourselves, A, because of our weight. I really believe that's one. But we also carry ourselves to do this job. We know we're more, probably a little bit more, we're older women. And as you get older, things like how little cute girly things or how you trying to be cool, that doesn't really matter unless you're going to go out. And like when Danielle went to dinner, we went to celebrate her fiance's birthday. Danielle wearing a dress, and he came almost little church slacks and celebrating his birthday, going to the Caribbean, this little Louisiana restaurant, and we all met up and we had a good time, just the three of us just chilling, okay? But when you see Danielle out here working, Danielle is dressed in, like me, some shorts and a t-shirt, and it's about business, maybe like me, a baseball cap or whatever. So like when you see us trek across the yard, maybe because I have a big butt and I'm fat, so now you really see my butt. But when we trek across the yard, you don't know if you're looking at a dude or a woman. When I first came in the industry, I used to wear a jacket. You did not know if I was a guy or a girl. Some guys would have to double take, like, they didn't know if I was a chick or a man. They didn't know. And when they figured I was a chick, they'd have to double take, like, oh, that's a chick. And my hair was not short. It wasn't longer because was it coming out then? Yeah, it started coming out about then. It started thinning. But I had a little fade up here, like a little hair up here that I had, naturally curly, and then I shaved the sides. A box fade. This gets good though. Oh, this gets good. The baby is sitting up there like, I don't dress this way, and I just wear sweats and stuff like that. Although her sweats are like girly sweats, like the pink pull-ups and it's sweats like what I call. I see a lot of sisters and white chicks wear that are thinner women. She's not a fat girl. She's very thin. She's taller than me. She's probably about, maybe might be between 5'4", 5. Well, no, she might be about 5'5". She kept saying, I didn't dress. I wasn't, that's not what I'm here for. I'm really just trying to learn the job. And she was really upset yesterday. She said, I haven't been trained. I don't know. She's like, I almost dropped a trailer. I'm by myself. She said, I sat here and I got in that truck and I practiced backing so I could thug it out, so I could just try to pass the upgrade. Boop-de boop-de boop. She said, they gave me this truck. I had to recover this truck. She said, I done almost dropped the trailer because she hasn't been trained. She said, everything I'm doing really slow because I don't know what I'm doing. She says, it's like I'm trying to figure this job out. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't been trained. I said, you were in the room with me. They told you I was going to be a trainer. Baby, why didn't you ask for me? She said, I did ask for you. And they told me you were going to be out a while. Hey, Trucking with Carmen. And they told me you were going to be out a while. I did ask for you. And then you had George, and they told me you were going to be stuck with George for a minute. And that's because I had started reporting all the issues with George. Hold on, y'all. My legs hanging over this bed, over that little hump they got, it starts hurting. Okay, let's see if y'all can see me. So, trying to get comfortable. She proceeds to tell me all this stuff about her closing. She didn't. And I'm sitting up there and I'm listening because I already know what this is. Let me explain something to you. For y'all who don't know. Sexual harassment, rape, molest, incest, it ain't got crap to do with what you got on. It's got to do with a perv who sees you as a female with holes and breast and behind and a vagina, and that's what they want. It ain't got, you could be ugly with one damn eye in your head. You could be 900 pounds. If you got a perv, they're going to be a perv. And if you're a female on a truck and they horny, they gonna be a perv. My father is a perv to his heart. Now, hopefully not for children. He don't look at women. He don't give a damn what a woman looks like. He looks at body parts. He looks at breast and ass. And that's all he looked at. He did not give a damn. He will tell you, I had some beautiful nightmares and some ugly dreams. What does that mean? I didn't give a damn what a woman looked like. I just wanted to screw her. Or a female looked like. I ain't gonna say woman because I don't know if he ever had a woman. I think he had females. I just wanted to screw her. I said, baby, first of all, let's stop. I said, because I said, how old are you? And she told me 24. She said she just turned 24. So let me explain something to you. I said, first of all, you young. I said, you're really young. And I'm going to school you on some things. And I told her a little bit about my background. Told her how long Danielle. I said, Danielle, you chime in here as you need to. I said, first of all, on the truck, this industry, these are transportation males. I said, you young people use a word called thirsty. You got a lot of thirsty ninjas out here. I said, and my ninja means niggas. I don't give a damn what nationality, what race, what ethnicity. ninjas. You got a lot of foul ninjas out here. They're lonely. You don't know what they've gone through. I said, and some of these guys might be felons. And this company, like, I did not know when George got on trial. I didn't know George was a felon. Now, granted, they might not be able to release that information, and I don't know to what degree. I didn't know they hired felons at this company. I told her no more felons on my truck. All right, and if I find out they're a felon, after George, I'm gonna turn their ass and jump off. And it's not that, because I got people I know who have had felonies. I have family members of felonies who have totally turned their life around. But the up and down nature of what I dealt with George, that still prison mentality, and that coming to the surface, and also you don't know what they learned in prison, especially if it's female male. I don't want them on my truck. A woman I probably would deal with. A man, I don't want them on the truck. I'm good. I told her, I said, it is not about how you dress unless you're really doing something. I said, and she's very conservative, but she's a girl. I said, girly girl. I said, it's not about how you dress. And even if you did dress a certain way, it does not give any person, regardless of gender, a right to sexually harass you, to rape you, to molest you, to do incest. Does not give them a right. That old-fashioned saying, no is no. To sit and try to justify behaviors. Oh, they asked for it. But when it comes to sexual harassment, first of all, you're a mentor. He's inappropriate for even getting really into a relationship with you if he did. Okay? And I don't believe that's what was going on. He's inappropriate for hitting on you. He's inappropriate for touching you. He's inappropriate for the statements he made. Swift did they did reenacted videos of true HR situations that took place of sexual harassment. Some of it was some mind-blowing stuff. And you're sitting there going, this person really this dumb? One of them, I saw the guy who was explaining to his wife when I was at Swift while he was being terminated from the company. And I remember one of the guys who did the training was telling the situation. And I remember because this guy was a lease purchase op. His truck was in the bay. He was on the phone with his wife saying, yeah, man, the lady said this, and she started screaming at me in the hallway. That same dude, the next day, I was finishing up my mentorship back in 2010. 2010, finishing up my mentorship training. The guy who was kind of head of that division that handled training, he came in and told the story, and I knew exactly who he was talking about because I heard the dude talking to his wife about the situation. And I'm telling you, I believe he did exactly what he did. He was covering up when them ninjas lying because what he thought, he's on there telling this girl all the time, yeah, my buddy said he trained and all his female trainees, all they did was dumb. They was just screwing all day and night, and then they would drive out. That's what they did. And he was telling the trainee that. So he's basically laying this on the ground, saying basically, if you just want to screw, that's what I want to do. This lady was so messed up that when she got to student services, she was screaming at him, get away from me, screaming at the top of her lungs. They came out to see her, pulled her back. She began to tell them the conversations on that truck. Swift firing his ass. He knew he was getting fired. He's done. He's done. This baby goes to these people. She tells her story after the fact. The lady who's over the student services tells her, I'm sorry it's going to happen. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that he doesn't train women anymore. No, he don't need to train no more. Or if you think she's lying, you need to open up an HR investigation. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Sorry, I'm getting notifications too. Um, when that girl who is on the 411, I made her an admin. She went out for her training with Roll. I told her straight up because I knew she most like sometimes I had men trainings too. Now Trainer Bill that I had at Swift when I had to do my refresher, perfect gentleman. I'm still friends with him. Not Trucker Bill, Trainer Bill, because my trainer at Swift my refresher trainer was Bill too. Trainer Bill, perfect gentleman. Martika, the one I talk about, the one that she's a gay chick. Me and Martika, I got the biggest laugh. Martika was cool. She was doing some stuff that was inappropriate as far as with her phone to me and driving. But other than that, I'm not worried about her as a gay chick coming on to me. She was a perfect young lady. Trainer Bill was a perfect gentleman. However, when I was at Werner, I had racial stuff happening with two of the trainers. It was racial and gender profile. So basically, I don't know if this industry is for you. And, my girlfriend, she takes care of my kids at home. So basically, you gender profile me saying that women shouldn't be in the industry. That's what this white man was telling me. And, maybe you should just go home. And this was basically, he didn't believe females should be in the industry. So come to find out, when dealing with him, his previous African American female trainee, he got her off the truck. I got off the truck with him. And then the first guy, he was making all sorts of kind of racial comments. And so that's when I told him, get me a female trainer. I'm not going to put up, because, okay. But I'm going to tell you, not my first story. I have a male that I know who was with Swift, who was hit on by another man in his training. Yes. Some Brokeback Mountain kind of trying to hit on him. It can happen to anybody, whether male or female. Swift has stories of female trainers, mentors, who hit on male trainees. It gone. This young lady, even talking to her yesterday, she was so stressed, she's stressed. One, because mentally she hasn't dealt with the sexual harassment she went through, and nobody's talked to her about it. The baby needs to talk to somebody, okay? She doesn't understand it. She's looking at it as if, what did I do? Did I do something to draw this unwanted attention? It ain't got nothing to do with you in that level, except you're female. And this person is horny. And he's a perv. And he's lonely. And me and Danielle schooled her. In this industry, you're going to get a lot of these guys out here. This is trucking. Trucking is an isolated job. Unless you got males out here with their wife, their girlfriend, their significant other, it just can be a lonely job. And for men or males, men, we use that word so loosely, grown males, some of them are so tied to not being able to control that feeling in between their legs and that unctioning that they feel they need to meet, that they will become pervy. My attitude is, there's plenty of lot lizards and whole houses around here. Go pay your money and get your damn services. I don't agree with that. But I would rather you go do that than to rape somebody or sexually harass some baby trying to come into this damn industry. Okay? With all this being said, I'm going to school y'all real quick. For those of you coming into the industry, whether male or female, this is not the first story I heard where somebody did not report, in my opinion, in a timely fashion. Luckily enough, she has text messages to her family about the behavior dated. But again, I finally told her, because me and Danielle were listening yesterday, and I said, baby, you need to go talk to HR. You need to skip the lady over student services and just go, you need to go talk to HR. You need more training, and you need to discuss that this asshole is still working here, okay? To your knowledge. I'm on other CDO groups on Facebook, and I remember this one specifically. I remember the company. It was, I think, KLLM. I think it was KLLM. Now, again, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's false. I'm just going to tell the story as I know it. So KLLM may have handled it appropriately. I don't know. But here's the story. Young black girl similar to this one was coming into trucking. She got a male trainer. I believe it was KLLM if I remember correctly. I believe it was them. I'd have to go back and search the story, and God forgive me if I'm wrong. Like I said, they may have handled it appropriate because I'm only telling the story side of the story the girl said. Young girl says she's on a trainer's truck. Trainer had made passes at her. She told him that she wasn't interested, and she thought it was said and done. He turned around, and when he got back to the terminal, he said that she was making passes at him, and they termed her. People, I'm going to say this to you again. Trucking is not, how they handle their business is not always the best. The first person who reports is normally the person who is believed. If you don't report it first, you are not going to be believed by the trucking methodology that they have out here. And yes, that is ghetto as hell. And yes, it's dumb as hell. Because really, in most corporations, when any accusations come up, there's what's called an investigation. So in corporate America, if you're in a corporate job and any allegation, if he would have said, oh, boop-de boop-de boop, and then she would have said boop-de boop-de boop. Okay, my phone just cut off. Hold on. Y'all hear me okay? My phone cut off. I don't know why it cut off. Or my thing said power off. So, if you would have any kind of situation like this in a corporate job, not trucking, corporate, how I was trained it would be handled. As a manager, I was to report it to HR. I'm instantly supposed to have a meeting with HR and let them know about the incident. This is where I had concerns on how this was handled, because the head of student services that she talked to, that lady should have been in communication immediately with somebody from HR. Whenever you have the term sexual harassment come up, or anything in the vein that it falls under that category, management's hands need to come out of it, and human resources needs to step in. That baby should have been directed to an HR person. In a regular corporation, that's normally what would be done. In banking, for sure. She would be directed to an HR person. The HR person would then sit down and do a statement, investigation. Any proof, evidence that she has would be provided to them by her. And then they would go and speak with the other person, and take that person's statement, that person's story, that situation. They then, if they know anything or they see anything or have any other witnesses, they then would ask those witnesses, they would interview those witnesses, and then those individuals would make statements, and then HR would come to some sort of decision on how the situation would be handled. This situation could be handled as the lady from Student Services says. They could say, you know what? Because you reported after the fact, unfortunately, we're not going to terminate him. However, we're going to put this in his file, and he is only going to train females from now on. However, if we have any future incidents with him and a woman, when they talk to him, we have any, whether, since you won't be training female students, but even if there's a female here on the yard or at this business that says you do anything inappropriate, we're letting you know this could lead to termination. Basically, get your Johnson handled and get your attitude handled, because if you can't control yourself, we're going to get rid of you because you're a detriment to our company. If she can prove her stuff right now because they didn't handle it kind of like that, she actually could look at going to companies like the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which deals with harassment, discrimination, all of that. She could get in a lawyer and turn around and sue them. HR, human resource for any corporation, I don't care if it's trucking, whatever, their job is not to help you necessarily, the employee. Their job is to protect the company. So I told her, I said, this could go one of two ways. They could actually get rid of you because they could see this as a problem. It just depends on how a company is. And really, how a company handles these kind of situations tells you a lot about the company. If it's handled foul, it's a shitty company. God forgive me for saying. If it's handled okay, had they stepped her through the process, I would probably be a lot more pleased. Had they had the I wouldn't be as turned off right now as I am. Had the head of student services said, tell you what, XYZ person, what I'm going to do is I need to talk to somebody at human resources and I need your phone number. Hold on, yo. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Things froze. I hope y'all could hear me okay. I hope y'all hear me okay. She needs to know that she's protecting the company. This is where I was saying that some companies, um, they need to train. Like when I had that driver manager dude in here, and I told him, you guys need management training. Management training should include a human resource type training as well as your basic management, how to manage these types of situations, people, whatever. If you're not trained appropriately in that, you put the company at risk. Now, granted, this is a medium small company. Well, their parent company's huge because they got bought out by somebody, and that's a whole nother issue. And I'll talk about that in a different video because during my conversation, she also gave me some other news that when she was talking, I realized, oh crap, I might not be here that long because hell, they might not be around that long. Oh my god, because they were acquired, and it sounds like while she was on his truck, something happened where they basically told him he was going to be under the parent company directly, and that he would no longer be reporting to the smaller company that I'm with right now. And no offense, I don't really want to have anything to do with the parent company, especially the hotel stay. That wasn't done by my company. That was actually done by the parent company because they had transitioned his driver manager over to the parent company. And when they called for the room, they went through the parent company. So it was somebody at the parent company who refused to get two separate rooms and put them in the same room together. Um, per my conversation with her. Again, I'm going on her side of the story. I don't know his, and I don't know what. That's why I said I can't go in there. Like Danielle was saying, well, I said you can't. I said because you're only hearing one side of the story. You don't know, and this is my management training. I don't know both sides of the story. I don't know. I just met her as a roommate. She seems sweet, but she could be delusional. She could be lying. Hey, Jaden. I don't know both sides of the story. I only know hers. And so with that, all I can do is advise her if she is telling the truth. I mean, like I said, she did show me a picture that was very disturbing. Um, I it's sad. It's sad all the way around. But if you are someone who is in a situation and you're in training, whatever, it doesn't even really matter what it is. Something is done inappropriately, you need to report that immediately. Try to get as much evidence as you can if you can. If you know, cell phone is a powerful tool. Like I had set and record this idiot in here. That cell phone has a record feature on it. You can record video, you can record conversation. She could have put that thing on video record and recorded that jerk off. Um, But if you're in this industry, don't wait because don't forget the perv may be smart enough to turn it around on you, which is kind of what he did. I don't, I mean, I don't think he said that she's hitting on him, but there was something that took something he did to get her off his truck because she wasn't doing what he wanted to do, which was to screw her. And she's like, I'm doing my, I'm not. I said it has nothing to do with how you dress. Stop worrying about how you looked. I said, it's not about that. And I said, but you need to be aware in this industry, you're going to get a lot of pervy males. This is a male dominated industry. And you do have a lot of pervy ass dudes out here. I, I'm going to the freaking fuel. I was telling a story. I was telling Danielle and her a story. So let me explain something. I said, I had, when I was working for, it was the Lubbock company. And I had to load, they told us we weren't going to be ready for like over 24 hours. And I went ahead and bobtailed up to the TA in Amarillo. I wanted to shower. I was tired. I have a handicap placard from just when my limp and stuff. And so the trucking, so I parked in the handicap that was open, put my placard up, got my little. Sometimes I'll use a cane if my leg is bothering me. Got my shower bag together. I was parked right, and I tell y'all in the middle of the night, I don't walk across yards. I was parked. That TA has the handicap parking is right next to the service area where they're working on the trucks. So um there's plenty of movement of humans that I wasn't worried about being knocked in the head or anything like that. So I got off my truck and I walked over to TA to get my shower. It's in the middle of the night. It was like mm, in the morning, 1, 2 o'clock, something like that in the morning. I go ahead. It's dark still. I go ahead and go in. When I go in, there is a black guy kind of standing out there, standing up at the desk. And I was like, "Do you work here?" He goes, "No, she's at the fuel aisle." I was like, oh, "Okay, thank you." And so I'm sitting there waiting because I want to shower. And they have what's called a handicap stall where you can have the bench, you sit down, and my knee was bothering me. So I was like, let me, go ahead and do XYZ. Um, it was just stiff. So I'm waiting, waiting. Brother's like, do you have a man? I said, I don't know you. That's a relevant question. I'm just waiting to talk to this lady. Well, I'm just saying, if you don't have a, I was, see, I said, dude, it's an irrelevant question. I'm not interested in whatever conversation you have. I'm good. Then he says, well, shower number 4 is opening. Don't fall for the BS. I don't give a shit if showers 28 through 30 is open. I ain't talked to an official person here at this company. Do not walk your ass back to shower number 4 because they acting like it's free and you getting a deal. He could have his buddy in there waiting to knock you in the head and rape your ass. Guys, use wisdom. I'm like, sir, I'm not. I said, I'm good. I said, thank you. I'm good. Can you go away? I'm not here for this. All I'm here to do is do my job. And right now, I'm tired. I need you to go away. I'm just trying to. I am not interested, sir. And then I just cut him out like he didn't even exist. The lady came back. He finally walked at the door and went on his way. And I had her thing got my shower. What I'm trying to explain to this young girl, I'm 50 some years old. I'm fat as a house. These pervy ass dudes in transportation, they don't give a damn what you look like, what you wearing. You could be dressed up like a damn polar bear. You probably could look like a damn man. If they see behinds and titties, that's all they're looking at. They don't give a damn. It ain't got nothing to do with pretty. It ain't got nothing to do with sexy. It ain't got nothing to do always with what you necessarily wearing. It's got to do with the fact they some pervy dudes in this industry. Please, 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 if you end up in a situation out in this industry, and especially within your own company, and somebody comes on to you inappropriate, please report them assholes to the company. Report them to the company. Oh, Lord. I got the seafood sub. It's imitation crab. It's okay. Don't sit and wait. I understood she wanted to make her money. I understood she's gone through several companies and she was really was trying to do her training. Y'all, don't. Don't. Report your stuff immediately. And for you people who don't know, 30 companies might term you. They might term you, which is what I was trying to. She's like, why would I get fired? I'm not the one. I said, I understand that. I said, but sweetie, you have to understand the nature of the game. Some companies want to get rid of problems. And even though you might not have done anything, they see this as a problem. So they're going to try to get rid of you. They might get rid of him just to make the problem go away so that they don't have to deal with financial. They're going to assess you. Are you going to be somebody who's going to come back, or can we just get rid of her and go away? And I said, they get rid of does not necessarily mean always fire. They can starve you out. They can do all sorts of things, and you end up quitting because you're not making the money you should make. Yada yada yada. It happens in the industry. I said, all I'm telling you is you need to report situations like this immediately in the future. I said, and this is a learn. Unfortunately, she's learning from it. Um, but at this point, she's so distraught and again mentally has not really dealt with all of this. And the way it was handled was, oh, here's your truck, here you've passed, go away. And I didn't want to tell her that could also be part of why she passed. They may not have necessarily. They might know she needs that more training, but they went ahead and said, let's get her in a truck and get her out because we don't want to not get her in a truck because we don't want her to flip, trip, and actually sue us. So we're just gonna make things lovely and the company Swift when I was with them, the Nigerian chick, she actually was her group was all failed when they went through the trucking school. One of them filed a grievance. They put them back through trucking school, and all of a sudden she passed. Now, what I saw told me she necessarily shouldn't pass, but it can happen. It can happen. Anyway, let me go back and read comments. And I'll probably do another security video here. I really wanted to talk about this. Let me read comments. Guys, forgive my hand is in here. Hold on. Okay, let me go through here. Hold on, y'all. Oh, Latrice, you talking about with the truck and yeah, I sent something. I was alright. I didn't get a full sleep yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and rest. And I'm here. This little hole in the wall truck stop. They got Mexican food. They got a Subway. I did get yesterday night. I had their shrimp cocktail. It was actually good. You take care of your drivers, and they'll take care of you. This is true. She said she'd have kicked him in the face. This is a big white man. We have to be careful when we start getting violent on the truck too. So it's like a lot of people were shocked at how calm when you would have heard the recording I did with the jerk off who was on my truck, and I was calm the whole time. He was talking crazy. I mean, talking me crazy. And young Shannon like, man, you get your shit off my. I'm 51 years old. I'm not in a position to be fighting with this asshole. And like I told you, there's a way to do things strategically. And I'm gonna tell y'all need to get that book, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. It'll tell you how to do. And her enemy was this dude. He was. Oh, that's the other thing. She told me that she got so uncomfortable with him. She bought a knife and some mace or pepper spray at Walmart because she said she didn't know where things were going on that truck because she was nervous about him. And I'm like, baby, you don't, because she's trying to complete. Young and didn't know. I said, you should have been immediately off that truck. Yeah, I don't know how this. Like I said, they asked me, and I do have previous training experience. They knew how to train for Swift. So I don't know if they went on that, but I still should have went through their training program if they had one, and there was no, classroom training. It's yeah, it's a little country. Correct, Shay. Yeah, so if you're a couple and you're sharing a room, sometimes because in her case and Shay's, she said they weren't even married yet, and the company still made her do something and made them do something in writing. That's right. Yeah, Shay, I told her she has a lawsuit. Well, she has a lawsuit. We'll get to that in a minute. Well, she'll have a lawsuit if she does chain of command. Because when you go to the EEOC, they're going to say, so you talked to this person, they want you to give the company a couple different tries to rectify. Did you talk? You got to get to HR. Once you get to HR enough, HR don't handle it appropriately and they want to sweep it under the rug, absolutely she has a lawsuit. But I'm going to tell you right now, based on my management background, there are several jobs on the line. The first person is that one who put them in the room together. Yeah, this baby's young. Another reason why the trucking age shouldn't be low because they don't know. They have no clue. Yeah, I warned that girl the same way. Well, I told her I don't know if she was on her app because we have an app that actually any conversations to the truck can be seen. But also don't remember anything to your Qualcomm. That's government. That's government, and they are not supposed to. I don't know if they can delete those messages because in case the federal government ever or like Department of Transportation comes in and they want, let's say you get in an accident and they want to audit it and see what was going on with your logs and with any messages, that actually is can be pulled by the government. So they should be able to get that information, or she could possibly get a hold of the hotel they stayed at and get that data. And that was from H.E. Bach, where she said she needs to document her talks, who she talks to, and keep her phone recordings and take them to an attorney and get a hotel receipt that say that they were assigned a room together. Well, the hotel receipt might not say that, but she really what she want to have is a company documentation they were only willing to pay for one room. No, Jennifer, I'm going to come to the male trainer on the truck. Yeah, Danielle handled it. All right, Danielle, you handled about the trainers in the bunk. Cool. H.E. Box, she's not married. I think it's her boyfriend who's coming into the trucking industry, and they're going to team together. Um, well, she's old enough to get her CDL. What she needs to do is get properly trained. That's what the problem is. I don't have a problem with a woman her age coming into the industry. She needs to be properly trained, and you don't need some pervert hitting on you. Okay, and Danielle, see, that's what Danielle said. It's not all of them, but there can be several pervies in the training industry. But like I told you, Trainer Bill, when I did my refresher, perfect gentleman. I was in the bottom bunk. Matter of fact, I had problems crawling top bunk, so he always took the top bunk, and I took the bottom bunk. Very very much a gentleman.
Yeah, Shay, if you are Jennifer, if you have any problems with the trainer, immediately. That's why I tell everybody when you get on that trainer's truck, you should have email and phone numbers for somebody. If there's any issues, you start emailing about those issues. Okay, Latrice, I ain't mad. She's like, I will get physical and whoop that behind. I ain't mad at you. Prime has, you know that Prime has a pretty good little program. I haven't heard too many issues with them. Um, and like I said, they're more corporate. So HEBOC, every company that I know of that I've worked for, even when you come in, they put you in. So HEBOC asks, what is the company policy regarding trainer trainee lodging? So I don't know for this company because they never, again, this is never clear. I'm going on what I know from Swift and from other companies I work for. But if it was two females, okay, then if I could share a room with my trainee if it's female to female, but they normally even prefer that if you were the trainer, you had a different room from your trainee. But for cost effectiveness, if they felt needed, that if it was female female, of course you can just share a room. If it's male male, you can share a room. But normally if it's male female, the man gets a room and you get a room, especially in a breakdown. Yeah, I'm not too. Yeah, Prime. I think you'll be okay. They do a pretty good check. I don't think they take felons. I have no idea. Um, Jaden already said hi. Magical Girl, thank everybody. Give the video a thumbs up. Thank you, Magical Girl, for saying that. Yeah, I'm. She's supposed to be back in touch with me. Me and Daniel talked to her yesterday. She was so distraught yesterday. I told her you need to talk to HR. She needs to talk to. I was wanting her to maybe talk to the driver placement person I knew and get her set up in case they try to get rid of her once she decides to go after this situation. But based on what I heard, just mentally, that baby, she needs to talk to HR, and they need to give her a minute to get her head right, and then they need to get her back in training and get her with a woman. Oh, don't spit the swamp. That's an old one too. I think that was one I read at a corporate job as well. And Shay E says there are phone apps to record voices, phone conversations. I advise you to get them, whether training or not, because these situations happen in and out of truck shippers and receivers. Not only that, I watched a disturbing video the other day with a sister who I think got pulled over by the cops. Cops kept touching on their gun in a big rig. Baby was crying. And it was like they were harassing her, kept telling her to get out the truck. And she's like, why do I need to get out the truck? Because it was bothering her. Because she said where she was at, it was just weird. It was a very weird thing. And she was recording on her phone. Okay, Disney Princess gonna be on the truck. Okay, I'm on my way to Florida. Will be safe. All right, yeah, just let us know how you doing. Um, But yeah, I'm gonna stop the video here. I just want to get that in. Um, Ladies, just be safe. Uh, Use wisdom out here. Somebody already put in here. Follow your gut. Your gut built something that's huge out here in this industry. If it ain't right, don't think, oh, I need to get my 100 hour. I need to get my 50 hour. I need to get my 250. Think I need to be safely off this truck, away from this nut box. And also you want to get off because you don't want this person possibly raping you. There's things that can happen, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but please be alert. It was one of the conversations I had with that girl, and if she had any issues, and that girl was like, "Oh no, I'm not about no bull crap." I was like, "Okay, that girl got some balls." Also, guys, you can't be timid out here in this industry. And Danielle brought that up because in talking to the baby, she could tell the baby's probably kind of quiet. But in talking to that baby, you can kind of tell the baby's a little more reserved and timid. And that's what Danielle's trying to tell her yesterday. Even at the fuel aisle, you have some of these aggressive men talking to crazy. I parked, there were three, it was a real tight TA. I parked at this real tight ass TA. And when I parked there, I had to go to the bathroom. So there was a truck in front. There was a truck. The container truck was in the fuel aisle, and I pulled up behind him. So I went on to the toilet. I came out the toilet. The container truck was still there. So I went ahead and ordered my Subway. When I got back out to the truck, I guess everybody had pulled up. So this dude from India guy, young guy, he's like, well, he's having problems because you were. I said, first of all, you need to mind your business. I sat here for over 20 some minutes because there were two trucks ahead of me. I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and got what I needed to go so I can go. I said, go. And he talked. I said, you know, talk to the back of my head. I got. He talked to me crazy. Basically, I said, take your ass to your truck. You guys can't be timid out here. And you got to be careful because there is one where I guess there was a female, and I think there was two Swift drivers actually. The male Swift driver, he swung on her and hit her and punched her. There's a video out on, it was out a while back. This is a while back, over a couple of years ago. And he punched this baby, punched this lady. Now, that right there will get you 911 call because that's assault. But when you're getting out these trucks, if you got people talking to you crazy, y'all just quietly go over to your box, open your box and get your tire thumper. Because even if I get my ass beat by some dude, I'm gonna make sure you got something to remember my ass by. I'm gonna try to whoop your ass. And you can't be timid out here. You can't because they will try you out here, especially these males who don't have any respect to females. They will try you and treat you like you a piece of dog dookie. Okay? So remember that. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. Y'all be blessed. I'll do another female safety video if I haven't, and post that up. But if you're going into trucking school, if you got any issue, inappropriate trainer, report it, report it, report it. Peace, joy, happiness. Y'all be blessed.